So hi everyone, this is Mama Ella again. I know it's been a while we came on air, Humble Hearts, but I think we're fully on air from now onwards. And I want to say I've missed you all. I've missed my people from Cameroon, my people from Ghana. I think we're back on air and God will help us this time. And I want to say a blissful week to you wherever you are in your marriages and your relationships. Remember that humble hearts always uphold one thing, and that is what? Living in love. So, but then we're going to take up a series I titled the SOS series. SOS series. SOS is just your chapter in the Bible, the book of Songs of Solomon. I wouldn't be talking about something else if it is not love. So Songs of Solomon is a striking book in the scriptures that God had allowed the people who he inspired by the Spirit to note down certain things that came from the breath of King Solomon. King Solomon was a man who believed in love. He believed in devotion between a man and a woman. And this book is also devoted to the love between a man and a woman. It also echoes the love that Yahweh had with his people, the children of the Israelites. And it also echoes the love Christ has for the church, the bride, you and I. So I want to take up this series and then begin to teach us one or two striking events that happened in this book of love that may be a situation for one or two persons out there. You may be wondering why am I waiting for too long? Why am I so endowed and I have not gotten a spouse? Why do I go through this and go through that? While I began to look into the book of Songs of Solomon, some things came up, and I want to look at this chapter, Songs of Solomon chapter 8 and verses 8. I actually listened to a colleague of mine, a pastor friend, who shared this particular scripture, and I feel it will be a blessing to everyone who is out there waiting, or you have somebody who is waiting to be settled in marriage. Songs of Solomon chapter 8 and verse 8, he said, "We have a little sister, and she has no breasts. What shall we do for our sister in the day when she is spoken for?" This will be the first series in this first part in this series rather, and I want you to follow us week by week as we drop them, and you will understand why it is a total pack. Because if one person takes up this pack, it is like you taking a drug, and you have to be committed to taking the dosages so that you get the entire health you need to get. So that's what this pack promises. So the first pack here is what? We have a little sister. You have a little cousin. You have a little daughter. But she has no breast. What shall we do for our sister in the day when she's spoken for? In the book of Solomon right there, these are brothers who are bothered. These are brothers who are bothered that their sister is mature. She has come to marriageable age, but she has no breast. And I like to think that these brothers are quite considerate. These brothers are good brothers. It could be a good father. It could be a good cousin. It could be good friends who want to know why you're still single, who want to know why you're still waiting. And I want to say this today, and I'm going to explain this. It has two dimensions to it. Remember, I told you that Songs of Solomon was written because of its foundation with Christ and the church. I'm not going in that aspect. I'll be going in the aspect of relationships. And now, as it regards to relationship, we have this little sister. I want you to mark that word little. That word little simply explains what? It explains that the girl is little. Little because maybe she has... have you seen a little girl with breasts before? I don't expect a little girl to have breasts. I expect a mature woman to have breasts. So I think this book is trying to explain to us that this girl, when the brothers were talking about her marriageable age, they were talking about her being unmarriageable. That's the point. Now, when a grown woman becomes unmarriageable, it should be a cause to bother anybody around. So I sat down to think about this thing. It simply means to me, and that's what I intended to share with you this hour. What does it mean? It simply means that this girl has all it takes to be marriageable, but there is no breast. A breast, if a woman has a breast and she's to get pregnant, what the breast does is to produce milk. It's a milk factory for the child. And if this woman eventually happens to have 4 or 5 children, these 4 or 5 children will milk that breast. Because even when women pray, they pray and hold their breast and say, this breast must give suckling. And when you have breasts and you don't have breasts at all, I don't know the suckling we intend to give. So now this thing is this girl is grown, but she doesn't have productivity with her. This girl is grown, but she doesn't have anything to feed the next generation. This girl is grown, she has no character to build for the next generation. She has nothing to give to a man. She has nothing to sell to a man. She is simply a woman who has nothing to offer. And you see them everywhere in most churches, everywhere in most seminars, everywhere in most meetings and workshops. And I want to know, what is it that you have? What are you carrying? Do you have breasts? Because no man wants to take home a liability. That's why her brothers were concerned. Her brothers wanted to know, what will you give a man if we lead you home and then you go there? This man will realize eventually that there is something about our sister. There is something about this. She really doesn't have anything emotionally. She does not have anything spiritually to offer. She does not have so much mental, cognitive abilities. What will she give a man? Because their concern was that she's not just going to be a liability to the man, she will also be a liability to them, because she may eventually come home. Now what we're saying is, what? Do you have somebody who has no breast? Breast there signifies productivity. Breast there signifies capacity. What do you have to give? Because when you don't have anything to give, you become a liability to who is taking you, no matter the level of love professed nor expressed. Love is sustained when we have a lot of activities carrying it along. When there are no activities, eventually, how will you look at me from morning to night and you won't get tired? Some things has to come in between our lives. Some activities had to come in between our lives. And that is why these brothers were bothered, because they know that their sister may not end up having a home. So now they said, what will we do for her? What shall we do for her when they come? So when I read this scripture, something encourages me. He said, when the day they shall come. So one day, they eventually came. But the problem is not coming, because if you see, most beautiful girls are empty. Most beautiful girls are they don't have emotional stability and capacity. They are not emotionally intelligent. And then, of course, they will be at the market. But what the man who is buying them does not realize is that this girl may be beautiful, but she has no breast. This girl may be comely, but there's nothing about her inside, indoors. So eventually they will marry you. Eventually you will be sellable. So it's not about being sellable. They're not saying, what shall we do? What shall we do? On the day they will come for her, what are we going to do? And I want to say to you, if you have such brother, such daughter, such sister, I want to say this: teach your sister what to do. Teach her what to do, because your concern is not just about her having no breast. What you actually mean is, how is she going to be secure? What is the emotional security for her? What is the comfort she's going to enjoy? What is this welfare that is going to sustain her in the marriage? So what we're saying now is, what? Teach your little girl how to become productive. Teach your little sister how to become productive, because the time will come when she becomes marriageable and they come for her. And when they come for her, she does not have breasts. She does not have capacity. She's not emotionally intelligent. She doesn't have emotional adjustment. She doesn't have intelligence quotient. There are things, a lot of things she doesn't.